Hey guys, welcome back to Somebody's Mama podcast. We're your hosts, Kendra and
Nicole.
thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode. This is episode 77. If it's your first time, welcome. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram at Somebody's Mama Pod. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you guys are here on YouTube, hello. Make sure you guys leave us a comment below and let us know how you're enjoying the episode. And if you're listening, subscribe to us on YouTube. Okay. We got that
Yes,
out the way.
exactly.
Nicole, how was your weekend?
Okay, so I have been moving the goalposts back and back with the kids on earning different stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was finally the weekend where I had to show up.
Uh-huh.
So Friday, we went out and got milkshakes. That's something they've been wanting. Saturday, I did some cleaning around the house, and then we had to go to the park. And
Uh-huh.
then they've been wanting Witch.
I've always wanted to try that. I've
Okay,
never
they
been
have
there.
it's pretty good. They have this kids meal pizza sandwich thing,
Mm-hmm.
and Austin loves it. So he's like, that's been on his list. Like, we never go to Witch anymore. So we went to Witch.
Okay, it's
They had a
nice.
ball at the playground,
Mm-hmm.
and then my husband was, I think he was out of town, and then Sunday he was in town, and so then we just kind of relaxed as a family. I think maybe it rained. Yeah, I think it started raining on Sunday because we were at the park
Yeah,
Saturday.
it did. It did rain Sunday. It's oh my God, this rain has been out of control.
Yeah, no, I think the kids were painting rocks outside on
Mhm.
Sunday, and then it just started raining. And I'm like, you guys, it's raining. Come
They're
inside.
like, who cares?
Yeah, they're like, we're just painting. They're painting rocks. I'm like, oh my goodness, if y'all don't come in the house. But yeah, how was your weekend?
Very similar. Friday we Friday. Oh yeah, Friday my husband and I did a date night, so that was fun. We just went somewhere local and had dinner. So funny. The restaurant that I went to, um my friend from high school went there the next day. Or no, she was there the same day, but she had posted on her Instagram about it. I didn't see her. But she was like, what did she say? She said, "Oh, why am I at such and such?" And I ran into Little Fizz from B2K.
Oh my goodness.
And she was like, and somehow I ended up with his phone number. But if anybody wants it, y'all can have it because I don't want it or whatever. But I'm like, girl, when did you go? Because I was just there. And she was like, I was there on Friday from this time to this time. And I was like, dang, I was there too, but I didn't see her. But she was like, oh, he came around 10 or so, and I had already left. But
Oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
that is so funny that he was there, but like, he lives around the area where we live. So
Yeah.
people see him all the time, but I just thought that was so funny. Um, but yeah, we had a great time at our date night. Went back and picked up the kids. And Saturday we had a family day. We went out shopping and like my son, my 6-year-old, he loves going to the mall for some reason. So he had his whole day planned out. He was like, we're gonna go to the mall and we're gonna get a pretzel and a cookie. And then we're gonna go play on the cars. And then so he had a whole day planned. And so we're like, whatever, we don't have anything else to do. So we went to the mall and did a little shopping and then came back home. No, we did not come back home. We went to a friend's house. We went to our friend's house, which is basically like being at home, just chilling over there so the kids could play. And then Sunday we went to church and came home and relaxed and basically did nothing the rest of the day, which is how exactly how I wanted it because it started raining.
Yeah, it's just
So
been
it
raining so much.
the rain like in Southern California has been crazy. Today was crazy. I was like feeling bad for my kids while they were at school. I'm like, thank God they don't really have to leave the classroom, but geez Louise, like it was the sun was shining, but the wind was crazy. It was like stormy.
Yeah,
And I'm
it
looking
was.
out the window thinking about my kids, like, oh my God.
No,
I
one day I'm driving around my neighborhood and the nearby school.
Mhm.
I saw kids walking home in the rain,
I
and I
know.
felt so bad.
It's so hard to watch when it's like storming like that. You're like, "Oh my god. I would just be sitting at the school waiting until it passed over."
Like, let me just wait it out. But kids, they don't know. They're just sitting there, like they're just like, oh, gotta walk home.
Right. And then some kids love being out while it's storming. They be playing in the rain and doing the
Mm,
most. But yeah, I'm ready for it to stop because it's been like pretty nonstop. We got like a break here and there, but been pretty nonstop with the rain.
yeah, it has.
So anyway, we're going to jump into the hot topics for this week. If you guys have not been under a rock, then you know what the hot topic is.
It
Okay.
is hot.
So, there's been two names that have been in the blogs all week long. Um, Candy and Tamar Braxton. So Tamar has been in the blogs, I feel like the last couple of weeks, or was it this week? So yeah, Tamar has been in the blogs for I want to say the last couple of weeks, last couple of weeks because she got engaged. She's on that show. She has a show on Peacock, Queen's Court. I've been watching. It's been pretty good. I have a couple of opinions about the show as well, but we could talk about that later. But so yeah, so she got engaged. She has the show out. It was her birthday. She had drama with the baby mamas of her fiance. Like it's been a lot going on with her. And then now this week, she has issues with Candy because just to give you guys a little backstory, if you don't know what's going on, if you don't care, sorry, it's been in the news. So we're gonna talk
It's
about it.
hot.
So she so originally what happened was Carlos King, who is like a reality TV producer, he somehow got the rights to do a documentary for the group Escape. Candy had an issue with that. Candy Burris, she's from the group Escape. She had an issue with that. And they had this whole big debacle, whatever, around it. Well, Tamar is on Dish Nation, which is like another like blog, like news channel, whatever. And they asked her how did she feel about Carlos King and Candy situation and what does she think, who's lying, whatever. So, mind you guys, the history with Candy and Tamar, they had a terrible like falling out, whatever. They went on Celebrity Big Brother. They made up, supposedly. They've been on tour together. They've had all these things happen. So Candy thinks that they're friends at this point. They're cool. Like she's gotten Candy. Candy has gotten her work. Like, they've been cool. So she goes on Dish Nation and she basically is like, well, I don't know, something in the milk ain't clean. Cause they asked her, like, who does she think is lying? And she's like, well, I'm cool with Carlos and I don't know if he would lie about, I don't know if he would necessarily steal something or whatever. And she was like, when you're a celebrity, these things like this just kind of happen where people want to tell your story. And so the other guy was like, okay, let's be real. If this happened to you, you would feel away. And she was
Yeah,
like, well, it did happen to me. Like when my sister did her biopic, I didn't have no say in what my character looked like or said or whatever. And, but that's different. And so the other people on the show were actually kind of like having Candy's back. Like anybody would feel a type of way if somebody did something like this. But she
yeah,
stood her ground or whatever. So her and Candy have a show. She approaches Candy like nothing ever happened. And Candy is like, I don't F with you. Like you, da 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 da. So they had words. So this is the kicker. So Tamar says that um, when they had their altercation or their disagreement,
mm-hmm.
Todd, Candy's husband, steps in and like she said he stepped to her and he said, you know what it is. So that made her feel threatened because he's a man and she didn't have her man with her at the time. She didn't have any security in her. And Candy was like all rah rah, whatever. So she's making it seem like Todd was like trying to fight her. That's what she said. She
Yeah,
said, a housewife and their husband tried to fight me. So she goes on Watch What Happens Live, which is the Bravo after show, and she says they they asked her a question like, because she goes in, on Instagram and she says, a real housewife and their husband just tried to fight me. So everybody's like, who is it? Who is it? Everybody thinks it's like Eva. And so they blame Eva for this or whatever. So she never comes out and says who it is. So she goes on What's Happens Live. She says, um, they ask her a question, who was it? And they go through all these names of people, and then they come to Candy, and she sips her tea. So they're like, oh, it must be Candy or whatever. And so after that, everybody is like, "Ooh, Candy and Todd try to beat up Tamar." Da, 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 da. So of course, Candy is denying it. Her fans, the fans are going back and forth, and all the tea is just spread all over our Instagram.
Yeah.
So here's my thing:
Hmm.
after both sides of the stories have been told,
Yeah.
Candy owned the fact that she got in her face. But however, she said Todd did not step to her. Now, me being a Real Housewives of Atlanta fan, I kind of feel like I know their personalities, at least on screen. I don't know, of course, I don't know them,
Right.
but I've seen, if you watch the show, we've seen them in some pretty raw moments, and we kind of know how people react to certain things based off watching them over the last 10 years or so.
Right.
So with Todd, I can see him coming up to the situation, pulling Candy away from her because Candy, she's small but mighty. And when
Yeah.
she gets upset, she be all in your face and doing all this and all this, and she turns into a gangbanger. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I can see how Todd would come over and bring her away and say, now Tamar, you know what it is, and
Yeah.
keep it moving.
Yeah. I can see
Now,
that. But Tamar is dramatic.
Tamar is very dramatic. We all know Tamar is very dramatic. I don't want to take away from her feelings because we were not there.
Right.
But just me thinking about the people in the scenario, I'm not saying that Tamar is at fault, but I feel like she amped it up more than what it was with in regards to Todd. Now,
Yeah.
she could have been feeling that energy from Candy, and you know Ty got the brunt of it because she feels like a lot of people feel like, which I agree, that men should stay out of women's business. Like,
Right. Of
you know,
course.
unless somebody is like trying to jump on your girl or whatever, I feel like you should let the women handle it. So I feel like he could have removed her from the situation without saying anything. But I also just kind of like seeing Ty's personality. Like, I feel like he was just like, you was on some BS when you were siding with the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've been here for you. We've given you work. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like Candy was just hurt by the fact that she was just like negate her feelings or whatever. And I feel Candy because don't come up to me like we all good when you've been talking about me in the streets.
Yeah.
Candy is big Taurus energy, okay? And
Yeah.
so,
And we are
you
both
know,
Taurus.
we are both Taurus, so we know how to get down there. It's like
Yeah.
we don't do fake.
No.
So if you've been talking about me publicly and I clearly know what you've been saying about me, like you can't approach me without me like letting you know what's up. Like I'm not confrontational like that, but I am vocal about how I feel. So if someone was to come up to me and I know they were like smearing my name and they come up to me like, "Hey girl, how you doing?" I'm like, "Now you know.
Now you
You
know.
was
Now you
just
playing.
talking about me last week. What was up with what you were saying about me?" Like,
Okay.
So it's been a lot. Now cousins are involved. Like, it's just a lot. Like the fans are going back and forth. Tamar said her new fiance stepped to Todd, but I like how her fiance handled it because he was just like, me and Todd had a conversation, but he did apologize. He came correct. Like he acknowledged the fact that he shouldn't have said anything. And we had a man-to-man conversation. People was like, I know Todd didn't let that little white man check him, da, da, da. But I don't think it was about checking. I think it was like him coming to, they had to see each other as a man and
Right.
say, my woman did not appreciate you talking to her in regards to the situation at all. Todd stated his intentions, and those were not his intentions. And the guys was cool.
Right.
So I just feel like all this is just a lot of miscommunication, but also like Tamar's extra.
this is what it is, okay? This is what it is. Reel it in, okay? This is what it is. Hey, and I commented on this, and it was growing. Listen, Tamar is about to get a peach.
You know what? As I just said that, I was
Like my
thinking about it, like, is she gonna get a
water.
peach? Because she bought a house in Atlanta. Now she has a fiance. She got beef with somebody on the show.
She a bigger celebrity than everybody else on there.
They need some fresh blood. She already does reality TV. She on Dish Nation.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Once you audition nation, it's really
Dish Nation, you're already in there.
yeah. Because I feel like Debrat would be on the Real Housewives if she didn't have her own show.
Right. Girl, and we can't even get started with the SWV drama. That's just a whole nother debacle,
That
you
drama,
guys.
okay, that drama had me rolling because Candy was on Speak on It, and when she was explaining that Escape makes way more money in fees than SWV, and that SWV has opened up for them before. So why should we make less money? I was
One thing about Candy is she's going to handle the business and she's going to
yeah
come with the facts.
yeah
Like she's going to have her receipts. Like she literally lined it up. Like every week she's been lining it up with receipts. Like every time they say something, she's like, okay, but this is really how it went. So I'm like, dang, girl, you'd have to eat them up like that. But it's like Candy does it. She's a reality pro at this point.
yeah. She really ate them up when she did that Speak on It. She laid it out.
She laid it all out. And I'm just like, Tasha, you need to stop worrying about Candy and worry about your husband because that was a whole other situation. Like, he got a baby mama, possibly other baby mamas out here. Like, the Atlanta tea is piping hot. Okay.
Yeah. I can only imagine what it's like to live in Atlanta because I feel like it's not that big.
It's not. I mean, but I feel like as a regular person that's not in the circle, like you just would just live your life, like whatever.
I don't know because I feel like
But
there's so many big influencers in Atlanta.
yeah, but I'm saying like if you're a regular person, like my best friend just moved there. She don't see these people.
Oh, that's kind of like LA. Like we don't really see people in LA.
Well, I think LA is a little different. If you go out, I feel like if you go out in LA, you pretty much see everybody.
Yeah.
But I feel like in Atlanta, if you're not invited to those specific type of parties, then you
Oh,
necessarily wouldn't like be in that circle. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like it might be easy to get up in there.
Yeah, I think
Like
so
all
too.
you need to know is one or two people.
Yeah, because you know
And
who
then
I follow is Jayla Corion,
oh yeah.
and she moved to Atlanta.
She's a social butterfly though. I've been watching her for a long time too, and she loves to go out. She goes out.
Yeah,
And if you go out in Atlanta, you're gonna meet people and then you're gonna start connecting them dots.
yeah, she's so funny. She,
Yeah, she's hilarious. That's a whole nother story.
yeah, that's all of her.
So yeah, so that was our peach tea for today, you guys. It was piping hot, okay, and sweet and sour.
Yeah,
So let's move on to our actual topic for the day.
sorry.
You want to go ahead and do it, or
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie to you. We're talking about parenting stress management.
She about to say, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know.
No, because look at when we create content every week, we want to provide some type of value, and we come across a lot of good content online.
Hmm.
And Kendra and I were talking about how just being parents, you come along lots of different types of stress.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even when you get stressed out, you have to just keep going. Like you don't get to just stop.
Yeah, you don't get to rest in it.
So we thought it'd be cool. We found a fun little article
Hmm.
and it shared some tips on how to manage your stress as a parent.
as a parent, because I feel like it can be a little different, like Nicole said, because you just push through it.
Yeah.
Like you don't really get to like rest in it like as you would stress in other areas. You just push through it. So sometimes you don't even know when you're stressed.
Yeah.
It comes out in other ways.
Yeah. And okay, so one of the first tips on here is
Hmm.
don't ignore your stress. And I thought that was such a good thing because I feel like sometimes as parents, we just get to the end of the day and it's like, long as we made it to the end of the day, we're all right.
Yeah.
But in actuality, it was like, no, we were stressed out.
It was very stressful. You went through 5 or 6 different stressful situations, but you just pushed through them. And then that's when it starts to pile up
And
and come out other ways.
I'm at a point now where it's like, if I know something is going to stress me out, I'm just going to take it off the list.
That's good. That's a
Yeah.
good way to manage it. Like if you already know it's like, okay, I have 3 or 4 things that I need to do today. This one finna stress me all the way out. I don't even know how I'm gonna get to the rest of them. I'm just gonna take that off the list.
Yeah. I just take it off the list. I'll be like, yeah, if I can get moved to tomorrow, like things I like, if I'm already stressed out, we're
Hmm.
not going in the grocery store.
Yeah, that's a really good tip because you already know I'll take these 3 kids in this grocery store. That's gonna send me over the edge.
Yeah.
So we're
Completely.
not doing that today.
Completely over the edge. Just
Yeah,
completely.
I think part of not ignoring the stress is clearly like acknowledging it, but like
Yeah.
acknowledging it in the moment. So, like Nicole was saying, like if I go in this grocery store, I know that's going to stress me out even more. But acknowledging it as it happens, like so you can kind of like pinpoint what it was.
Right.
So, if you're in the middle of doing laundry and your dryer decides to go out,
Ooh.
that happened to me.
Really?
Yeah, girl, I told you I was out of a dryer for like 3 weeks because it's a long story. We ordered the wrong one came. It was a lot. Okay, it was
Oh,
very stressful. I was hang drying clothes. I was going to my mom's house because where we live, there's no laundromats
oh my goodness.
because
Oh
there's
yeah, there
only
isn't.
houses over here, so there's no laundromats anywhere unless you go way down where I don't want to go.
Right.
So I was like going to my mom's house to dry clothes. I was, hang drying clothes. It was just a mess. You guys, just side note, if you ever, you guys probably know this, but you can't hang dry towels. They're stiff as a board.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, because
Stiff as
I feel like back in the day they would hang dry.
well, maybe if you do it outside, I don't know, but you cannot hang dry towels in the house. They will be hard as a rock and you will not be able to use them. So that was
I
a very
didn't know.
stressful situation, and by acknowledging it I know how to deal with it. So instead of just being completely stressed out about it, I'm going to plan for it. Okay, now I know that I have to take my clothes, I have to map out my day so that I can take clothes to dry them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I think part of not ignoring it is just kind of like acknowledging it so you know how to handle it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And when you're able to acknowledge what's going to stress you out or make a plan around it, I
Mhm.
feel like at some point you just have to make it fun. Like if you had to take the clothes to your mom's house, okay, now
Mhm.
we're at my mom's house, we'll go for a walk and we'll go to
Yeah,
a
bring the
nearby
kids'
picnic.
bikes over, bring the kids, and just it's a visit now.
Yeah, it's a visit and we're just going to turn it into something fun. Okay?
Yeah,
Because the last thing you need to do is add stress onto stress.
right, right. And calling it out is helps you to not just let it pile on.
Right.
So I think for me it's very hard because sometimes I don't know when I'm stressed. But
Mm,
like when you feel yourself getting frustrated, that's kind of like what stress is. It's like it's overwhelming, it's frustrating, and it's causing some type of reaction, whether it's in your attitude, your mood changes, um your temperament, like how quickly you are able to respond, and like it's not in your normal, like calm, bubbly, whatever personality, like,
Yeah.
okay, you're stressed at that point and call it out and say, okay, I'm stressed. This is
Yeah.
what is stressing me. So I need to pull back on this in this moment so that it doesn't continue to pile on.
Yeah. That's for sure.
The next thing that was on the list was to have a plan.
Yes.
So, what do you do when XYZ happens? So, have a plan of action. My kid is in the back seat. I know I have to go on a long drive, and I know that my 3-year-old doesn't do well on drives over an hour. So I'm going to create a little play kit for them. I'm going to have their snacks easily accessible for them to grab. I'm
Hmm.
going to avoid a stressful situation because what happens when a child no longer wants to be in their car seat? They scream the entire time.
And kick and scream and kick and scream.
And they get louder and louder and louder, and that causes more and more stress on the driver, on the
Yeah.
other kids in the car. Like, it just turns the whole situation upside down. So plan for it. We already
Yeah.
know that this is going to happen. We know our kids, right? Like, we know when these things are going to occur. Sometimes we can't plan for every situation, but what we can plan for, it's important to just go ahead, set the time aside. If you know that, one kid is going to come home with X, Y, and Z because they had a birthday party, like, let's just go ahead and get the other kid a snack.
You know
Like,
what? Sometimes I wish like the teacher would tell us in the chats that,
yeah,
hey, so and so's birthday today. Because when you have multiple kids and one
yeah,
gets in the car with that goodie bag,
yes,
it can turn everything into a 360.
yeah,
Because the other kid is like, oh well, nobody in my class had a birthday. I don't have a goodie bag, and then the other kid don't want to share the goodie bag, and then
yep.
it just becomes this whole
Big to
situation.
do.
Yeah,
No
it's
reason.
like over a goodie bag.
Right. Right. And I mean, there's so many things throughout the day that as a parent can cause you stress. And sometimes it's just kind of like pinpointing those, sitting down, maybe writing out those things. Like, if you're noticing that you've been more stressed than normal, sit down and try to pinpoint what are those things, and what, if I can do anything. Like, some things are out of your control. Like, if you have to work 7 days a week and take care of your kids, it's just like, okay, it's that part is out of your control. What can else can I implement to make my life a little bit easier? I know my kids, as soon as I pick them up, they're going to be asking for food.
Yeah,
So pack a little snack back in the car. Here's snacks, whatever. That'll take a little bit of stress off you to keep them busy until you get home. Um, Pre-planning their clothes, like, whatever situations in your life, because everybody's lifestyle is different. Everybody has a different routine. And if you're noticing holes in your routine that you can fix, like, I feel like that would take some stress off too. Just kind of like pre-planning is key in parenthood.
and I feel bad because it's like sometimes you just get pre-planned out, but
Yeah,
really the plan goes such a long way. Like even for me, if I even pack their lunches the night before or just get the essentials out, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Not the stuff that
yeah.
not the stuff that's gonna get soggy, but like the chips and like you know what I'm saying?
It does
It
help just to already throw that stuff in the bag, because that's one less thing you have to do.
yeah. And then the mornings are already so chaotic.
Right. And I feel like the things that we can plan for, if we handle those, it leaves room for the things that are beyond our control, so that we don't have those things and the things that are beyond our control. You know what I'm saying? Like, some days it's just like, okay, it's my bad on not pre-planning. And
Yeah.
then you get a flat tire, and it's like, I knew I should have put extra diapers in the car, but I
Yeah.
didn't, even though I thought about doing it and I didn't do it. Now we're sitting on the side of the road with a flat tire, and we have to sit here for 2 hours and we don't have any diapers.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's little stuff like that that can just, like, completely make the situation that was already stressful more stressful.
Yeah. Um, I kind of touched on it earlier, not to move for the next thing, but making time for fun stuff. Like even what I said earlier, I had a goalpost for the kids where, this is some fun things that we have planned. These are some fun things that we have to do. Like it gives them something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of able to use it when like, hey, let's calm down,
Yep.
the things we're working on so that we can earn the milkshake or earn the Legoland or earn
Right.
the Disneyland, or
Hmm.
just like, or like Friday nights they do tablet time in the bed,
Right.
and it's like turning having giving them things to look forward to also
Hmm.
puts stress on me because they're like, okay, I'm working on using words when I have big emotions.
Yeah.
So by giving them something to look forward to, it also is causing them to work on the different things that they need to work on, which creates less stress.
Yes. Absolutely. And also what I like to do is like if it's a high stressful day and if you have a kid like mine who doesn't care and wants to play with you,
Yeah.
like try to come up with activities that are fun for you as well. So it's like, okay, we're gonna do board games or we're gonna paint something that's also soothing for you or something that you will enjoy because some kids just don't want to play independently. Like my son, sometimes he does, but for the most part, he wants somebody to play with him. And
Mm,
I know if I'm already having a stressful day, I know he's not going to care and he's still going to want to play with me. So I'm like, okay, I like to paint. It's therapeutic for me. Let me set up a paint station for today
that's
because
smart.
it's something that we can both do that's relaxing. We're still doing it together. It's fun for us. Or, we're adults. Sometimes we take life too seriously. Like set up an obstacle course in the house, put up the tunnel. We have this little pop out tunnel thing.
Hmm.
Go crawl through the tunnel with the kids. Like, sometimes you need to shake off that stress in fun ways, like laugh, have a good time. Like, like we don't always have to take stuff like super duper serious.
Yeah. And I think too, when you add that in, it really creates a balance, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
it helps
Yeah.
to balance everything out.
Yeah, and it gives the kids something to look forward to, like you were saying, like have those fun things scheduled, like have those activities scheduled because it gives the kids something to look forward to, but also gives you something to look forward to. Um, because I think a lot of the stress that comes from parents, mothers, is
Yeah.
that everything is always about the kids. It's always about everybody else but me. So
Yeah. Time for fun for yourself.
yeah. So it's like if you can find ways to incorporate things that you like to do with things that your kids would like to do, that's the game changer because it's like I'm stressed, but at least I have this to look forward to. And then your kids are happy because they're happy doing whatever they can do with you.
Right.
So I try to make stuff fun for me too because I'm like, the more I enjoy it, the more they enjoy it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about it
Yes.
like that. I instantly went to the what was fun for them instead of making having fun things for myself. I didn't even
That's such
think
a
about
mom thing. That's such a
it.
mom thing to do.
And I didn't even think about it. That's so crazy.
Yeah, as a mom, that's what moms do. We think about our kids, we think about the family, we think about, okay, well, let's plan this family vacation. Like, what will the kids want to do? Like, what's going to be fun for them? And making experiences for them is also fun for us because, our faces light up when we see them having a good time or like we see the cute little moments. I'm the camera queen. Like
Oh,
I take pictures of everything. Like my kids can do the smallest little thing and I'm capturing the moment and I love creating those moments and memories for them.
yeah.
But at the same time, like I think it's cool to just, incorporate yourself too.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Another thing which kind of goes in with that is try to maintain a sense of humor. So this could go both ways. Like, we were talking about like playing, having activities and stuff, and like, don't take life too serious, make it fun. But this also comes as a tool when crazy things happen that may be stressful, like your kid decides to make a Picasso on the wall or on their face, and they come in and they have a mustache and they have like just Sharpie everywhere.
Yeah.
You can decide, you have two choices. You can fly off the handle, stress yourself out even more, or you can just take a moment, acknowledge how funny it is, and just laugh.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the kids do the darndest things and we can't help but laugh. With the older kids, you kind of want to laugh in their face because one, they could be sensitive, or two, they think it's funny and they might want to do it again and they should not be doing it again.
Mm.
But it's okay to kind of like laugh to yourself, or some stuff is just funny.
Yeah. And some stuff, like, I know you probably have those moments too when your kids say something and you know you're not supposed to laugh, but
Yeah.
you and your husband will be like, and then
Yeah.
one will run into the pantry and like just allow
Crack
themselves
up
to
laughing.
crack up on the inside, and the other has to be like sit there and be like a straight face.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think you do have to have a sense of humor, and a way that I like to maintain my sense of humor is I like to every Friday night I have my sangria and I watch a comedy show on Netflix
That's good.
because I relieve my stress by like watching comedic shows.
Yeah. Laughter is good for the soul.
Yeah, so or a rom com, like a funny rom com, and like when they go to bed, if I can just sit downstairs, watch a movie, drink some wine, and laugh, and
Yeah.
like it just feels like all the stress just leaves my body.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Like I noticed that like the shows that I choose to watch at the end of the day are either like brainless reality TV or it's like comedy. And it is a stress reliever. It's just good to just like one see somebody else's mess and just be like, ooh, or get a good laugh in. But however you choose to do it, like incorporate humor in your life.
Yeah,
Like I feel like if you do take life too seriously, it will be stressful.
yeah, that's for sure.
There's things that happen that are out of our control, and sometimes you just have to sit back and laugh at it. Like, no, that did not just happen. Like, how you have those days where things happen back to back to back,
And then you just
and
laugh.
and by like the fifth thing, you'd be like, okay, God,
Yeah, we gonna
really?
this today. We're gonna wrap this up, put a bow on it.
Yeah, it
You
is
gonna
what
have
it
to.
is at this point. It's just like I've definitely had those days where it's like one thing after the next keeps happening. And by the third or fourth thing, I'm just like, this is silly. Like, why is this happening? And then for me, the way I handle that, I laugh and then I stop and pray and be like, Lord, what lesson do you want me to learn today? Like,
Yeah,
what am I supposed to get out of all these things that are happening? Because this can't be life.
it can't, it can't be life because this don't make
This
no sense.
can't be life.
Every time I pop a tire, I think that because sometimes I just make the wrong turn. I will hit a curb, and
Yeah.
I'll be like, God, I'm sorry.
Every time I hit a curb, I laugh at myself.
No, I will hit a curb and pop the tire.
Oh no.
Yeah, I will hit a curb in the tire. I'll be like, dang, I did not hit it that hard.
Right.
Anyway,
Oops.
yeah.
Okay, what's
Another
the
good
next?
tip is to identify your strengths. And
That's
I
true.
like this one because sometimes I feel like when I'm super stressed out, I like to go to what I know works for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
And by acknowledging, okay, you know, I could maybe create a piece of content, or I can um, look at some different fashion trends, or I can just make some notes or put a to-do list. Like I could just like, there's certain things that are my own personal strengths that I know I can lean on when I'm feeling
Right.
stressed. I can write an amazing to-do list. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know if I'm having a stressful day, I know that I can lean on myself and say, look it, today I just need to stop and just relax and put everything on hold, write an amazing to-do list for tomorrow and
Yep.
pick them all back up tomorrow.
Right. And sometimes that looks like just acknowledging the things that you did well in the day. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, we focus on the negative a lot. We're like, this didn't go right. That didn't go right. Dang, I forgot to pick up the milk. I forgot to do X, Y, and Z. Like
Yeah.
I left the clothes in the washing machine all day. Now I gotta rewash them.
Yeah. Or like
like,
I got to school late. Well, at least I got them there.
yeah, exactly. Like at least you got the kids there. Everybody got their lunches today. You worked out today. You drank water today. The kids came home happy. They loved their dinner. Like whatever went
Yeah.
well in the day, like try to focus on those things because I feel like as moms, we try our best to do things well. And sometimes when things aren't going right, we beat ourselves up about it because we know what we could, sometimes we know what we could have done differently.
Yeah.
And so we try to focus on that, like, dang, I knew I should have did X, Y, and Z, or, oh, I totally forgot to make that an appointment, or I missed that appointment. Like, and it's just like, give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
sometimes it's just
like identify the things that went right that day. Yeah.
yeah, focus on what went right. Like,
That's a
two
good
things
point.
went wrong and we say we had a terrible day. It's like, no, you did not have a terrible day. You had two bad moments or two not so great moments. And but look what else you got accomplished today. Like your kids are happy and healthy. They got a home cooked meal or they didn't. They got Chick-fil-A, which is quality. You know what I'm saying? Like give
It-
yourself some credit.
yeah. That's such a good point. That's such a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Also, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but just remember to take care of yourself.
Oh my.
We talk about self-care a lot on this podcast because we are trying to remind ourselves as we remind you guys.
Okay.
But, remember to take care of yourself, whatever that looks like for you. For some people, that is making sure you do your prayer and devotion in the morning.
Yeah.
For some people, that's making sure you don't forget to fill up your water bottle before you leave, or remembering to eat,
Or to
uh,
shower.
take a shower, you know, brush your hair a little bit, you
Brush your
know,
teeth.
right. Do something for yourself.
Sometimes you just pop out the bed and you're just like, oh my gosh, I gotta get everybody else done. And meanwhile, you'd be like me, going to school looking homeless every day.
Yeah, and then you walk past your, it's 3 o'clock, and then you walk past the mirror and you look at yourself like, dang, girl,
Yeah, you just
you had a rough day.
I had to stop doing that because I was really doing that for a long time, and then like over the past month, I was just like, you know what, I gotta stop doing this.
Yeah, girl, the other day, where was I? I think I went to Target, and sometimes I just run out of the house,
Yeah,
and I like saw my reflection in the glass, and I was like, "Now, girl, why you walked out the house with them socks and them Crocs on? You know you wrong."
that's bad, Kendra.
It's
That's
been
the socks for the
cold.
crowd.
It's been cold, and so when I'm in the house, I put on my like fuzzy socks. I got some on right now. So when I run out the house to go do something, I just slip into my Crocs. That's my uniform. I wear black, usually a black sweatshirt, sweater, top, something, black leggings, and Crocs.
Yeah,
But I usually take my socks off before I go in somewhere, or I'll throw on some Uggs if I need to have socks on. I looked at myself in my reflection in that glass and I said, "You know you wrong.
it's time to go.
Time to go." But yeah, it's so important. We have to remember to take care of ourselves and like whatever, like I said, whatever that looks like for you, it looks different for everybody.
Yeah. And that's something I had to come to terms with, that self care looks different for everyone. Like, so often we put like massages or getting your hair done or nails done as in self care, but as in taking care of yourself. And although
Hmm.
those things are, help take care of yourself, sometimes
Hmm.
you have to identify, okay, what does taking care of yourself look like for you,
Right. Hmm.
and that's something I had to come to terms with. And it's so it just it feels better when you're taking care of yourself.
It does.
And you feel like you don't have time to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Sometimes you feel guilty about taking
Yeah,
care of yourself because
yeah,
you're thinking about all the other things that you could be doing or who needs what. And it's like, okay, but you need you too,
yeah,
you know? And if you're no good, then you can't be your best for your family. We try our best to
yeah,
please everyone, to make sure everyone is good. But if we don't take care of ourselves, they're only getting a percentage of us. They're not even getting the best version of who we are. We want to give them the best, and we can't even do that because we're not taking care of ourselves.
yeah. That's such a good point. Yeah,
Yeah. But it's really good to think about like what that looks like for you because in the era of social media and like Nicole said, like we always see like massages or nails or whatever. And for some people that might not even be fun for you. Like that might not even be enjoyable. So you need to figure out like what that looks like for you. For you, that could be like going to Barnes and Noble and looking for a new book and then taking that same book and going to the park and start reading it. All in the same day. Or um buying yourself some new clothes, like,
I'm a
whatever
big
that.
I'm a big go to the thrift, go to the Goodwill, go to the thrift shop.
Yeah,
If I could find a diamond in the rough, I'm like, oh my goodness.
that brings you joy.
And it's just like, I just found this amazing vintage
Yeah,
blazer. And I'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I found this amazing vintage blazer. And I was just like,
yeah,
I want to go home and disinfect it and
right. And put
just,
it
and no, not even put it on. I just want to hang it up and look at it. So like I have this rack of just like
on. Uh-huh.
pieces that I find to be beautiful. And it's just all there. And then I'll rarely, if I can fit the piece, I will rarely wear it. And if I wear it, it's because I'm doing something that is just like I just felt like it meets the moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can go feel.
I mean, but that's great because you know what that looks like for you, but you
Yeah,
just need to find time to do it. Don't take the kids when you go.
yeah,
Like make that your thing.
yeah,
So it can literally be anything. Like literally anything.
yeah. And last but not least, a tip is if you need help, ask for help. Like
Yeah.
seek the help. And I know that's a really hard thing to do because
Yeah.
sometimes you just like the way that you do something, or
Mhm.
sometimes you just feel like, okay, you feel like other moms are carrying that weight, so you should be able to carry it, or you just feel like you should be able to do something. But it
Handle it.
really, but it's really okay to seek help. It's really okay to ask for help. It's really okay to lean on your support group. If you don't have a support group, look for one. Like,
Yeah.
it's really okay, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's,
I
I,
mean, that could be the best stress reliever. It's just to get a little break.
yeah. I am always so, um, amazed. Like the other day, I don't get a lot of breaks. So the other day, I did pick up by myself.
Hmm.
So like my husband watched my son and the 1 year old, and I drove to pick up my daughter by myself. And I made a stop at 10 minutes in Target. And then
Hmm.
I picked up my daughter. And I could not believe with that 30 minutes by myself completely changed my day. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I got home, I was like, oh my gosh, babe, like I'm so rejuvenated.
Baby, let me tell you something. Leaving early for the pickup line, can be that moment for you. Like if you even if you have a kid in the back, it's still like a break because the kid is in the car seat and they
Yeah.
have whatever activity that they have going on. But like Nicole said, those days when I can go by myself, I will pack me a little snack.
Yeah.
I will I go early to pick up my son anyway. I pack a little snack. I put my phone on the little thing in the car so I can watch Netflix, kick my feet up in the car, and just enjoy that time, like waiting. Like, and I look in my rear view today. I saw a mom doing the exact same thing. Like, she looks so comfortable. Like, she was there before me. I said, "Oh, you girl, you came real early." And she had her feet up out the window. She was watching her little show, and like, like just wherever you can find that time, like to yourself. If you can get somebody to watch your kids, um, take it, man. Like, but I know a lot of people don't have support systems,
Yeah.
but like try to find a group. Like, there's so many groups where people have band together. Like, of course, you want to make sure for safety and stuff like that, but like, trying to find community is kind of hard sometimes, but if you can find it,
It's worth every
it's
minute.
worth it. It is absolutely worth it. Seek help wherever
Yeah.
you can find it. Like, as long as you're being safe and cautious, like, seek help to get those moments to yourself. If you have like PTO, take a day. Like, there's people that never use their PTO.
Yeah.
Like, take a day. You deserve it. Like, take a day and just do whatever you want for one day. Like, you deserve it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We hope that you guys learned some tips on how to just kind of like alleviate some of the stress. We know as moms, stress is going to come.
Yeah.
But as we take in these tools, as we learn, we're learning as we are presenting them to you guys. And we're not perfect. We should be stressed out just like y'all.
Okay.
So we're learning as we are teaching you guys, but we hope that you guys enjoyed this. We hope that you share this video, this podcast with a friend. Spread the word because we're trying to be stress free as much as we can so we can be our best selves. We can live long and have good brain activity. Okay.
Exactly.
So make sure you guys are keeping up with us on Instagram at Somebody's Mama Pod. You can also subscribe on YouTube. If you guys are watching and you got this far, you might as well subscribe because you watched the whole video.
Yeah.
And also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can find us, Somebody's Mama Podcast. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.